The 5th Annual DNA Technology in Beef Cattle Conference was recently held at the USDA Meat Animal Research Center in Clay Center. Earlier this week, we talked with Matt Spangler about what presenters discussed and the importance of the conference.
You know, this technology, DNA information, or really genomics, has been evolving over the years and at a pretty rapid pace. And so we thought it important to have an annual meeting like this to keep the industry as well as extension personnel updated in terms of how this information is actually being utilized.
So what are some of the updates to the Breeding Association and some genome work that you've been working on?
Yeah, you know, really genomics have been incorporated into our expected progeny differences, or EPDs, by the American Angus Association since 2009. But since then, several other breed associations have begun augmenting their EPDs with genomic information. And so I think that's really exciting to see that information being adopted and utilized by the industry, whereby they can actually increase the accuracy of EPDs on young animals. And so we provide an update relative to which breeds are doing that, how it's working, and where we see that technology going in the future. One of the ways I think that technology can really benefit the beef industry is providing some insight into the genetic potential of animals for what we might consider novel traits, things like feed intake and feed efficiency or disease susceptibility. And those are really the highlights of two USDA-funded projects right now. I'm involved in the one centered on genomic predictors for feed efficiency, and we provided some updates relative to that 5-year, $5 million effort that's currently going on. And so provided the industry with some ideas relative to the early research results. The other one I mentioned, bovine respiratory disease, is another very large USDA-funded project aimed at developing genomic predictors for disease susceptibility in beef cattle. So we plan to, on an annual basis, provide research updates relative to those two projects.
How far along are they? How could they help producers in the end?
The feed efficiency project is actually in its 4th year right now. And so we already see beef breed associations beginning to adopt some of the early genomic results coming out of that project. The BRD grant is a little bit younger in terms of its maturity right now, and it's focused not only on beef cattle but also on dairy cattle. And so I think there's some early results relative to the dairy component that are available right now to the industry.
Specifically in Clay Center, is there some research being done at the Meat Animal Research Center that focuses here?
Yeah, huge effort in terms of genomics at US Mark. One of those areas is on using sequence information, so actually doing whole genome sequencing on animals and trying to determine the best way to utilize that information. So tremendous effort going on at the U.S. Meat Animal Research Center with the goal in mind of developing genomic tools that can be used by the beef industry.
A push from science or a push from the producer industry there? You
know, this case, genomics, I think, is an area where the scientific community and the industry are working hand in hand to collaboratively do research so that, one, the resources can be better utilized, and two, at the end of the day, there are research results that are applicable to the industry.
Are more producers finding that this information is maybe easier to find or easier to use on their specific operations?
Yeah, I think so. We've seen seed stock producers from a number of beef breed associations actually utilizing this information in their breeding systems.
Presentations from the recent DNA Technology Conference can be found online at beefefficiency.org. We'll also link to that on the Market Journal homepage.